let's be entirely honest. If nothing is changing for your life and you feel stagnant like day after day, it is your responsibility at this point. It's because you don't want it personally. I'm not talking about the factors that are out of your control, but there are still daily things that you can do for yourself and show up for yourself that's gonna make your life 10 times better. It is a question of will. Do you have that in you? Do you have what it takes to not only watch YouTubes like this one, but to really get up and say, hey, you know what? I am not where I want to be. I'm not the best version of myself. It's not even about that. You know what? I'm not happy with how things are in my life and my life overall. I want to do something. Are you ready to actually stand up for yourself? Because I know that it takes a lot. You need to have a lot of courage and will and determination in yourself. It doesn't mean that you cannot develop them. It's not only about having discipline. It's really about having this little spark in you that says, hey, I want to change something. And I'm going to tell you straight away, most of you don't want to do that. That's why most of you are stuck. That's why most of you are not fighting. And I'm so done with people like that. Like, I don't even want them in my personal relationships, because when I hang out with people who are like that, it really drags me down. I just feel as incapable as they feel, and I don't want to feel the type of way. I know that I am capable of a lot of things, and a lot of things are under my control. I don't want to hang out with you for as long as you're like that. I had a situation yesterday, it just, even talking about that frustrates me, that really reminded me how most people don't want change, even if they say it. And first of all, words that don't match actions is already a big incoherence for me, and I just don't like it. It was a professional thing. I just got hired for a new job, and they told me, no, for the next month, that's why we actually hiring you. We need to rework some of the documents, some of the processes that we have. We know that you have the expertise. You need to help us to make things better and easier. I'm all in. When I work, I like to make everything as easy as possible. And in 2024, you need to make sure machine is working more than you, because you can, so you can have more time for like creative tasks daily. So Thursday, I spent the whole day digging through Excel sheet formulas, finding the best ways to implement the document to make it easy and accessible. And honestly, the changes that I made were not even that big. I changed like some colors just to make them easier to absorb for the human eye. I added a couple of columns, very easy things, nothing out of ordinary, nothing disturbing, nothing that would disturb anybody else's peace at work. So I'm like, that's a win-win. And then on the next day we had a meeting, and when my colleagues saw what I did and I actually explained every single step to them, like, this is how A plus B equals 25 is gonna make everything easy for you, they hated it. They said it was too hard. They said it was too complicated. They don't want to keep working that way. They actually rather go back to this previous version of the document because it was easier for them. Where is the logic? Where is the logic? I hate being surrounded by freaking idiots. I hate people who tell you, hey, I want change, I want something else, I want something bigger and better, and then at the end of the day, they'd rather sit in the same swamp. Okay, you do that. And you know what? This is just an example. That's a professional field, obviously. You cannot change anything. I accepted it, and I understood what they want from me for the following month, and I'm only with them for several months, so that's fine. I'll just pretend. But when I see people do it in personal life, and when I see them come to you for advice, so come to me for advice and say, hey, I know that you are somebody who is disciplined and well organized, and you're like overall highly motivated in life. What do I do to be a little bit more like that? And I sit them down and I say, hey, okay, I see that you're struggling. If I were you, I would pay more attention to this and that. And they say, wow, that's amazing. And then literally on the next day, you see them not following your advice. Oh my God. The amount of frustration that it creates in my body, because I understand that change is not and progress, they're not linear. They always go like, it's always the ups and downs, and that's okay. And also doesn't mean that everything is easy for me. No, my goodness, my life is hard and has been hard, and a lot of things that I can't control, but I'm doing my best daily to show up for myself. Like, the way you see yourself is supposed to be, you are the best person that has ever existed on earth. I know that it sounds as too much, but believe me, if you're a healthy person, you will still find the right balance. It doesn't mean that you're gonna disregard and disrespect others, but you should still see yourself as the center of your world and make sure you are at any given point being taken care of by yourself and being loved by yourself. So what do we need to do that? We need to create healthy change. Manifesting alone is not gonna help you. I actually talked about manifesting. I think it's good, but I don't think it's gonna solve every single problem that you have. It might help. That's it. You need to be proactive in your life. You need to get up. You need to do things for yourself. And I am not telling you that you need to change things radically. You can still be overall satisfied with your life, but maybe not with all of the aspects. That's when you need to introduce a change. You say, hey, I want a new job. What do I need to do to get the new job? Well, you need to update your resume. You need to apply for jobs. You actually need to do something. Who else do you expect to do things for you? And then, I have a friend and I really love him. And he's meant to change jobs for a while now and actually move countries. And every single time we talk about that, I am encouraging him, saying, hey, I do feel like you're gonna have more opportunities in this country, in this place, at this job, and you have the potential for it. You've been at this job for years already. You've learned everything. You're not happy there. And guess what? It's been several years and he's not gonna change anything. He's not gonna do anything about it. And I'm not gonna go after him like, oh my God, that's fine. Because once again, this is not my life. Why am I making this YouTube? You think it's because I'm accusing you of something? It's because I'm like, oh my God, you're a couch potato. You know what? It's not about that. It's because by giving you this tough love, I'm hoping that maybe for a spare second it's gonna motivate you to do something about your life. By being a little hard and pushy, I'm hoping that maybe it's gonna activate some parts of your brain when you say, hey, actually, you know what? She's right. I do want change. I do need to do something about it. It's not about accusing people. It's not about me saying like I am superior to you. At non-given point, things are hard for me too. Change is hard for me too. It's all humans are like that. But the more you start introduce small changes in your life, the bigger your results will be. Also, there's one good saying that goes, wait, I'm trying to remember it, but it's something like, progress is not about moving quicker. It's about moving on a steady pace and being consistent with it. That's how you're going to change things about your life. Do not expect huge changes within the next 2 years if you know that it's going to take time for you to introduce those changes. But you need to build a solid base as of now, and you have everything you have in yourself. Like, nobody is extraordinary to a point where everything is just automatically easy for people. It is hard for every single person. It is more about how you deal with that. Also, I want to talk about the victim mentality. It's just something I cannot stand no more. And I'm not talking to people who were abused and they are victims in certain situations. Because yes, that could be the case. This is understandable. It is about how you're gonna let or not let this trauma define your whole life, everything else. Because yeah, for maybe even long period of time, you're gonna be affected by it. You know what? You can still be deeply affected by something, but do your best to make the best out of it, of this experience. To not let your trauma define you and say, hey, you know, now that all of this happened, I am this little, small, miserable person, and then I'm just gonna abandon myself. I'm just gonna forget everything good that happened to me. There are numerous stories of people, even of celebrities, who were really mistreated and abused by their families, fans, or spouses. They still found the strength in them to keep going, and that's why they are where they are. Who told you that you don't have the same thing in you? I'm gonna tell you, it is you and your own mirror. Every time you look in the mirror, you say, oh, you know what? I am actually not like that. Well, you know what? That's fine. Not everybody's gonna be like that. In fact, I'm pretty sure that most of the people who watch me most of them are not going to do anything about their life or introduce any changes. It is going to be a very, very small percentage of people who are actually going to take this as a sign to reinvent themselves a little bit, to say, hey, I am worthy of this change, of a happier life. And a lot of it comes from healthy self-esteem. And I know that a lot of us haven't had been robbed of healthy self-esteem by our emotionally immature parents, or partners, or just like environment. And I know that it is hard. It's very hard to shape a healthier version of yourself where people around you keep picking on you and saying that you're not worthy of it, or if just themselves, they are not secure enough to project this confidence on you. So yeah, that is hard. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. Also, very important thing, once you start learning how to be more self-confident, it's gonna take you time, but it is fine. It is one step at a time. Make sure that people around you are aligned with who you are. This is so important. I can no longer tolerate people around me who are radically different from me, meaning in terms of our personal values, like people who lack self-esteem, people who are not confident, people who project their insecurities on me, people who have the victim mentality. I cannot have that no more. I cannot have people who are so scared of change or any type of change. They just sit down and they don't do anything about them, because it just makes me the same. Your environment shapes you, and you cannot choose everybody around you. Like, you cannot choose your colleagues, you cannot choose your family. You can, however, choose your chosen family, your friends. Go for people who are gonna uplift you in life. Go for people who are gonna help you with advice, who are gonna be good for your networking, for your mental health. It is incredibly important. And I actually regret that I spent so many years, like the other day, I got so mad at myself. I'm like, girl, do you realize how many years or a month, depending, you spend on people who were not worthy a second of your attention? I don't wanna make it sound like everybody in that time period was absolutely horrible, disgusting, and I'm so much better. No, but there are still a lot of people who are not half the people that I am and will never be. But I was too insecure back then to even realize that, and I spent years investing in them emotionally, financially too, because when you're friends with somebody on any type of relationship, you still, there's money going. It's going out for drinks, going out to the restaurant, going on holidays together. And then one day you realize that you've grown, but these people were never meant to do that. And you look at them, you're like, damn it, why didn't I take like a couple more minutes out of my time to actually look you in the eyes and say, are we aligned as friends, as partners, as people? Because we are not, and I don't want to spend my time on you. But it's not about regretting things. It's literally about saying, okay, this already happened and I can't change it. What I can do today, however, is choose if I still want to have you in my life, or if I want to move on to something else and protect myself. Like, this is what I do. 2024 is the year where I protect myself so much and my inner peace. I don't care who lives my life, because I always say that the thing that I value the most and I care about the most is my own values. I don't care as much about people, because if you are not aligned with my values, at the end of the day, I don't want you. And it does happen that sometimes you build a relationship with somebody and then eventually you realize that actually, you know what, their values are not the same. And I'm talking about big values, like let's say loyalty. You need to abandon them, because there are two choices. It's either you abandon them and you move on with your life and you live it like you want it, or you're going to abandon yourself because you're going to betray your own values for the sake of what? Of somebody who is too different from you. And then how are you going to create this healthy change in your life? That's not happening any day, because you're going to be stuck with people who are not like you. And this is like my goal in life overall, is to be as authentic to my own self as possible. And it's really hard. It sounds like an easy thing. It sounds like it comes from a children's book, like, oh my god, be kind, smart, and authentic. It is so hard. We live in society that always makes sure that you're somebody else and not yourself. So fighting for your own being, fighting for being who you are and who you want to be, is so incredibly hard, especially if you're a woman. Everybody just makes sure they have something to say about you, but when you stick to your own self and your own personality, when you rework your environment and what you do daily with your life, which also means occasionally isolating yourself and getting rid of people, is where you get the most aligned with who you are, and that's where you're able to make this change happen.